Today, we're going to tell you a story. It's quite a powerful, unsettling account that came straight to us from one of our listeners, Rung.
Right.
He shared his personal narrative about some, well, truly strange and frankly frightening experiences he had while he was working over in Finland.
Yeah, it's a first-hand account.
Yeah.
We're going to step through his time living there and these occurrences, things that became more frequent, more intense as time went on.
Good.
Our goal is really just to walk through this narrative with you, detail by detail, and try to understand the strange things that happened in that apartment.
Okay, so let's set the scene. This story kicks off back in February 2001. Rung, who's a Thai national, had gone to Helsinki, Finland for a job.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, he was staying in an older apartment building, and he said everything there was completely normal, no problems, nothing weird at all.
But the change happened when he moved. This new place, it was rented by his boss. It had this unique layout.
Yeah.
It was originally 4 separate rooms adjacent.
Yeah.
And the boss had them connected to make one larger living space.
Huh.
Okay.
And this was where his boss's family would stay when they were in town, and sometimes other staff, like Rung.
And almost immediately, the source gives us this really curious little detail. Rung mentioned the previous tenants.
Yeah.
A couple. They'd moved out and were actually paying for their own place somewhere else.
Right.
Even though they apparently could have kept living in this apartment for free.
That is strange. It's a small thing, but it definitely makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you choose to pay rent when you've got a free place? Did they know something? Or maybe did they experience something that made free rent suddenly not worth it?
Exactly. The story doesn't tell us why, but it just sort of hangs there like a little warning sign, maybe.
A subtle hint that maybe this apartment wasn't quite normal.
Right. But Rung said for the first little while he was there, everything was fine for him. Personally, nothing strange happened.
Until he overheard something. A conversation.
Okay.
It was between his boss and the boss's daughter-in-law, Annie. And the question Annie asked her mother-in-law was pretty direct.
Yeah. What was it?
Mom, do you believe in ghosts?
Wow. Okay, given the context of the previous tenants, that definitely makes your ears prick up.
Totally. And Annie went on. She explained what she asked. She said she would often see an old woman.
An old woman.
Yeah. This figure would apparently walk into the kitchen area in the evenings, sometimes late at night.
Okay.
But whenever Annie followed her or went to check, the kitchen was empty. Nobody there.
Huh. And what did the boss say?
According to Rung, the boss seemed a bit dismissive, tried to brush it off. And the son, Annie's husband, he didn't really say anything.
So Rung hears this. It sticks in his mind, obviously.
Right.
But since he hadn't seen or heard anything himself, he didn't dwell on it too much. It was Annie's thing, not his. No, not yet, anyway.
And this is where it really shifts for Rung. The boss's family, they make plans to go away.
Where to?
Iceland.
Oh.
For several weeks.
Okay, so that left Rung
alone in this big connected apartment.
How did he feel about that initially?
His first reaction wasn't fear, apparently. It was happiness. He was looking forward to having the space to himself.
Right, bit of freedom.
Yeah. Relax after work without the family around. He'd get back from his job, maybe 10 p.m., have a beer, watch TV, just unwind.
Sounds normal enough.
But on the very first night he was alone there, while he was doing just that, relaxing, he started hearing sounds.
Oh, what kind of sound?
They were coming from the boss's room, which he knew for a fact was completely empty.
Okay, that's unnerving.
The sounds were these heavy, distinct footsteps. Rung used the Thai onomatopoeia, which suggests like a heavy thudding sound, like someone walking forcefully, maybe with their heels, on the carpeted floor in there. Heavy
footsteps from an empty room. Not good.
He turned the TV volume down, strained to listen. Was he imagining it? Noise from next door. The footsteps stopped. Silence. And then he heard something else.
What?
A dry cough.
From the same empty room?
From the same empty room.
Oh.
Roan was absolutely certain. He knew no one was in there. His immediate reaction was just pure unease. He said his arm hair stood right up.
Yeah, I bet. Fight or flight kicking in.
Totally. The relaxed evening was just gone, shattered. He just switched off the TV and went straight to bed. The sounds just ringing in his ears.
And was that it? Just the one night?
No, that was just the beginning. After that first night alone, the sounds, the heavy footsteps, the dry coughs, always from the empty room, they became a regular thing.
Oh, man.
Almost every night when he got back from work, he'd hear them.
That alone would be enough to drive you crazy, just the sounds.
But it didn't stop with sounds. The account describes this terrifying escalation into, well, what we often call sleep paralysis. In Thailand, the term is...
Cozium.
Right, being held down.
Exactly. Rung said he'd frequently wake up or be half awake and feel this crushing weight pressing down on his chest.
Horrible feeling. Couldn't breathe properly, couldn't move, couldn't even cry out. He'd have to, struggle with all his might just to force himself fully awake and break free from it.
And this happened often.
The source uses the phrase very often after the family left, so, yeah, frequently.
Wow, so imagine that. You've got the creepy sounds every day in this apartment you know is mostly empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night, you're dealing with this terrifying physical feeling of being pinned down alone.
Yeah. How long could you really take that before it starts to seriously mess with you?
Exactly. Rung's fear just grew and grew. He wasn't just unsettled anymore, he was properly scared.
Rightly so.
He started worrying that whatever this was, it wouldn't just stick to sounds and this pressure. He thought it might get worse.
Yeah, physical.
He needed a way to cope, or maybe just avoid it.
So he came up with a plan, or a strategy anyway.
Okay.
He decided he'd go out after work, go to a local bar, drink pretty heavily, stay out until closing time, which was like 2 a.m.
The numb yourself approach.
Basically, yeah. He hoped if he came home late and really drunk, he'd be too tired, too out of it to notice anything weird. He'd just pass out.
Desperate times. Did it work?
Well, he tried it one night. This was around November, so it was cold in Finland. Gets back late, skips showering, just goes straight to bed, exhausted, drunk, thinks, okay, this is it, sleep.
No.
Just as he's drifting off, he feels it.
Oh no, not the pressure.
That exact same heavy pressure right on his chest.
Even drunk. Wow.
Even drunk. The terror just cut right through it. He said he had to use immense effort, just force himself to get up.
Must have been terrifying.
He got up, turned on the TV, needed noise, light, anything to distract him from the silence and that feeling. He ended up staying awake the whole night, too scared to even try sleeping again.
So strategy number 1 failed. Miserably.
Utterly. But he was desperate, so he actually tried it again the next night.
Seriously? After that?
Yeah. Drank till the bar closed, got back around 2 a.m. again. But this time, something different happened. As he was just walking into his room, he felt a push from behind, sudden and forceful.
The push, from someone.
He said it wasn't like he stumbled or lost his balance. It was a definite, strong push that sent him falling forward.
Whoa.
And he fell hard, face first. Hit his head on the edge of the TV stand, actually injured his face.
Oh my God, so now it's physically interacting with him. Pushing him.
Yes. He's bruised, shaken up, probably still pretty drunk, but he manages to get himself into bed somehow.
I can't even imagine.
But the night wasn't over. He's lying there, injured, trying to drift off, and he feels something touch him.
No.
Something grabbed his ankle.
Grabbed his ankle.
Grabbed it, and then dragged his leg violently. He said his knee was pulled right off the edge of the mattress.
Okay, that's it. That is pure terror. Pushed, injured, and now dragged out of bed.
He was absolutely terrified, no more doubt. In his mind, it was a ghost. Maybe angry he was coming home late, maybe angry about the drinking, who knows?
It doesn't matter why at that point, does it?
Not really. That was the end of sleep for that night, too. He got up again, injured, shaking, and just watched TV until morning came. Couldn't shake the feeling of that cold grip on his ankle.
I wouldn't be able to either.
Wow. So after that night, the physical assault, the push, the fall, the leg drag Rung completely stopped going out to the bar.
Yeah, good call. Clearly wasn't helping and was getting dangerous.
Right. Instead, he started just buying beer and drinking it in his room, maybe hoping to avoid whatever it was on the way into the apartment.
And he tried another tactic too, right? To avoid the specific things happening in bed.
Yeah, he thought about it. The sleep paralysis, the pressure. That always happened when he was on his back. The leg drag felt like it came from the foot of the bed. So he figured maybe sleeping on his side would be safer, avoid both things.
Okay, logical enough, I suppose. Trying to outsmart it.
But the source calls this a huge mistake. In Thai, "Janang karang tiblai."
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened?
He's lying there, on his side, trying to fall asleep, and he feels the mattress dip behind him.
Dip, like someone sat down.
Like something heavy got onto the bed behind him, and then this cold sensation, moving closer to his back.
Oh, that's awful, just feeling something approach you like that.
He's groggy, right? Half asleep, and on pure instinct, maybe trying to get away from the cold or whatever was making the bed dip. He walks
Towards it.
rolls over, and opens his eyes. He's staring directly into a face.
No.
The face of an elderly European woman.
How close?
Inches. just inches from his own face. He described her as looking maybe around 70 years old.
Oh my God, face to face.
But her expression, that was the truly horrifying part. She slowly started to smile at him.
A smile? That sounds almost worse.
And as the smile widened, her mouth just opened. Impossibly wide, stretching unnaturally downwards towards her chin.
What? No, like unnaturally wide.
Completely unnaturally. He said the whole visual, it probably only lasted a fraction of a second in real time.
Felt like forever, I bet.
Exactly. He said it felt like slow motion, just drawn out in pure, absolute terror.
What did he do? I'd scream.
He screamed, a raw scream, just pure fear, scrambled out of bed as fast as he could. As he moved, the figure seemed to sort of fall off the bed and then just vanish.
Yeah, just gone. I mean, after seeing that, sleep is completely off the table.
Oh, absolutely not. He didn't sleep a wink that night either. Stayed up, adrenaline pumping, watching TV until morning, just seeing that horrifying face over and over in his mind.
Unbelievable. What happens next? This can't go on.
Well, the timing here is pretty striking. That very morning, right after the night he saw the face,
Yeah.
the boss's family got back from Iceland.
Oh, thank God. Finally, he wasn't alone anymore.
Right, and the boss immediately saw Rung's face, which was still bruised from hitting the TV stand a couple of nights before.
Ah, right. The fall.
The boss asks, why are you up so early? What happened to your face?
Did Run tell them everything?
He did. He just laid it all out. Every sound, every time he felt the pressure, the push, the leg drag, and finally seeing that old woman's horrifying face just hours earlier.
And what was their reaction? Especially Annie, the daughter-in-law.
Annie's reaction was immediate and, validating for Rung. She apparently exclaimed, "See? I told you, there really is a ghost in our house."
Wow. Confirmation.
Yes. She confirmed Rung's description of the old woman perfectly matched the figure she'd been seeing walking around the apartment.
So Rung knew he wasn't crazy. Annie had seen her too. What did the boss do?
The boss seemed, maybe a bit overwhelmed. Didn't really know how to handle it. His main suggestion was just for Rung to sleep with the lights and the TV on.
Which Rung probably felt wouldn't do much against something physical.
Exactly. He felt it wouldn't really help, not against something that could push him or drag him.
So what then? Did they try anything else?
The boss did try something more practical. He brought another worker to come and stay in the room with Rung. Safety in numbers, or maybe just moral support.
Yeah. Hoping company would help. Maybe offer some protection, or at least make it less terrifying.
Did it work? Did having someone else there stop it?
Nope. The entity, whatever it was, wasn't bothered by an extra person.
Oh, great.
The very first night the other worker stayed. Middle of the night. Rung was woken up by sounds.
No kind of sound.
Distress. The other worker was groaning and struggling in his sleep. Rung managed to wake him up.
Was he okay?
He was terrified. He described having a dream, maybe not a dream, where an old person with this unnaturally wide, grinning mouth was sitting on his chest.
Just like Rung experienced the sleep paralysis.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
And in that moment, they both realized it wasn't just Rung. They were both being targeted by the same thing.
Oh, man. Shared terror now.
Then, the second night, it happened again, but the roles were reversed.
Rung got it this time.
Rung felt the familiar chest pressure, the feeling of being sat on, and this time, the other worker woke him up.
So it's taking turns. One night him, one night the other guy.
It seems like it. Chillingly clear. It was affecting both of them.
That's almost worse. Like, it's playing with them.
And then came maybe the most terrifying night of the whole ordeal.
How could it get worse?
Both of them. Rung and the other worker. They experienced the chest pressure, the being sat on, simultaneously.
At the same time. No way.
At the exact same time. Both of them lying there, side by side, completely immobilized, just groaning in distress, unable to move or help each other.
That is horrific. Trapped together.
The boss actually heard the sounds they were making.
Oh, good.
Came into the room, switched on the lights, woke them both up. Rung said he was initially so startled, so deep in the fear, that for a split second he actually mistook his boss for the ghost again.
Understandable in that state.
Before his brain kind of caught up and registered who it was.
So after that, the double paralysis incident, what did the boss say then? Still just leave the lights on.
Pretty much, yeah. Reiterated the suggestion. But Rung and the other worker, they knew they needed something else. They talked about what they could possibly do.
What did they come up with?
The other worker suggested trying prayer, like they would back in Thailand if faced with something supernatural.
Okay, a spiritual approach.
And as it turned out, Rung had actually brought some Thai prayer chants with him from home.
Really? Like what?
He specifically mentioned one called Itapiso, and another chant associated with a highly respected monk, Lurong Pulman Purifa.
So he had them with him? Did they try it?
They decided they had nothing to lose, right? They were desperate. So that night and every night after that, they made a point of praying together before they went to sleep, using these chants. According to Rung, the outcome was, well, he described it as unbelievable.
What happened?
After they started praying together, the disturbances completely stopped.
Stopped, like everything.
Everything. No more footsteps, no more coughs, no crushing pressure, no terrifying dreams or figures sitting on them, no more sightings of the old woman. Just gone. Silence. Peace.
It just stopped after all that escalation.
Completely. Rung's conclusion, from his perspective, was that the entity was probably the spirit of a former owner, still attached to the apartment somehow.
And maybe the renovations disturbed it.
That was his speculation. That maybe the boss knocking down walls, connecting those rooms, had somehow disturbed the spirit, or maybe allowed it to move more freely through the whole space, leading it to lash out.
Makes a strange kind of sense, in a way.
And the experience clearly had a lasting impact. Rung said he continued using those prayer chants regularly, even long after he left Finland and went back to Thailand.
Because he was convinced they worked.
He was absolutely convinced they offered genuine protection.
What a story. It really takes you on a ride, doesn't it? From those first subtle sounds.
To the sleep paralysis, the physical push, being dragged.
And that face-to-face encounter. Chilling.
And then the shared terror with the coworker just kept building.
And the really surprising part, maybe, is how these traditional beliefs, Thai prayer chants, seem to provide a solution when nothing else did.
It really does highlight how different cultures approach these kinds of unexplained events, doesn't it? And how people find ways to seek comfort, or maybe even real protection.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the unseen history of places, especially older buildings, places that have been changed or renovated.
What kind of attachments, seen or unseen, might linger there.
And how might those attachments, if they exist, interact with the people who come to live there later? It's definitely something to think about.
We really hope you found Rung's story as compelling and maybe as unsettling as we did.
Yeah, it's quite something. If you enjoyed hearing this story and our thoughts on it, please do take a second to like, share, and subscribe to us on Anya and Horror Docs. We'll have more stories and discussions like this coming up.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.